Something I've wanted to talk about for a long time is that video games never get the design of freeways correct, of interstates, of highways. Specifically based on the United States system, as outlined in the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, that book that everyone's familiar with. There's rules for how highways should be signed, how they should be labeled, what the numbers mean, how they're laid out, how they interact with each other when they, intersect with each other, how different roads are labeled based on where you're at in the country. There's a whole bunch of rules for this sort of thing, and even within the context of a video game where you don't have to establish an entire country's worth of highways, just the game's world's worth of highways. Video games never get this right. So this intersection right here is unassuming at first, but this is the reason why I'm making this video, because I saw this and I was like, this is wrong and on so many levels. So look at this right here. US Route 1. That's what this shield means. This white shield with this sort of design to it means US Route 1 or US Highway 1, the traditional United States highway system that was established a long time ago, before interstates. These can just be roads. They can be limited access freeways, but they can just be regular street surface roads. This on-ramp here has a sign labeling this as US Route 1 or US Highway 1. And then, 10 yards up the street, there's a sign here labeling this as Interstate 1. Those are very much not the same thing. Completely different things. You can't have US Highway 1 and and Interstate 1. And in fact, the way that freeways and US highways are laid out is that the numbering system is inverted from each other, so you won't end up with similarly named US highways and interstates in the same area of the country in order to prevent confusion. So you would never have a US Highway 1 near Interstate 1. And this road's apparently both. This freeway is apparently both. Very incorrect, for a number of reasons. But we're going to follow this and see where we end up. Let's follow 1. We're going to just call it Interstate 1 from this point. Or is it US Route 13 now? What road is this? And that's the point I'm trying to make. Video games are terrible at labeling highways in a way that makes any sort of sense. And I'm using Grand Theft Auto 5 as the example because, 1, it's a popular game. People are going to be interested more in watching a video about Grand Theft Auto 5 as opposed to Saints Row 2, which is another game with a freeway system that is not accurate, although it does have some good points, but that's beside the point right now. I wanted to use GTA 5 as an example because it's terrible, and yet it's the best example. It does it better than any other game, and that's how low the standard is for this sort of thing. We have already seen this one road labeled 3 different things at the same time. Now, you can have one road be multiple different highways at the same time, depending on, if they intersect, if there's sections where they run concurrently, then they split off later on. That's very common. But this is a video game, and they have not established any sort of consistency here. So, we're on Interstate 1. Oh, apparently Interstate 1, it follows this exit right here. If we get off right here, we're on Interstate 1. That doesn't really make sense. What is this? Let's just get back on. Once again, that sign did not make any sense. What do we got up here? What is this labeling? What does this label the road as now? So once again, we are on Interstate 1 West or Interstate 1 North. Okay, first of all, odd-numbered interstates have to run north-south. Specifically primary interstate routes, which usually end in 5. So in real life, this is I-5, I-15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Double-digit, 2-digit interstates, whereas I-5 is technically just 1 digit, but imagine there's a leading 0 there. This would, in theory, be Interstate 01, which should be some sort of north-south route. So it makes sense that it's north. but it doesn't make sense that it is west to Paleto Bay. But how can it also be one north and one west if apparently that sign is indicating that one north exits here, even though it also exited back there? So we're going to exit here, one north. See where this takes us. Apparently, following these signs, we are still on Interstate 1 going north, or US Highway 1, or US Highway 13. I don't know. This road's been all of these things. So, okay. We've merged onto this highway. Is this now 1 north? Interstate 1 north? What does this sign say? Yep. Okay, it says 1 north is also this exit up here. So we exited on 1 north to merge on here as 1 north. And then it exits again. And we're actually on 4 west. So once again, we exit here for 1 north. This is very strange. This interstate lasted for, barely a mile before it exits onto another interstate and then subsequently exits again. And now we're not even on an interstate. We're just on a surface street. So this can't be Interstate 1 anymore because interstates have to be built as limited access freeways. So that was apparently Interstate 1. That was GTA 5's Interstate 1. Made absolutely no sense. And the entirety of the map is like that. There have been attempts to map this out, and I'll put one up on screen here real quick, where people have tried to make sense of the highways and interstate system in GTA 5. But even drawn out, it doesn't really make sense. It's like this is their best attempt at mapping this out, but it doesn't really work. So what road are we even on right now? I mean, it's probably not signed, but this is definitely not Interstate 1 at this point. I don't even know. And we're not going to follow this anymore. We're going to cut to another location that I wanted to show because it also makes no sense. And that is somewhere along this highway as you approach the Sandy Shores area. So we're going to... It's somewhere right around here. .8 miles. I don't know if I'll keep this in the video. I might cut it out, or I might just keep talking. I'm trying a new format here. Well, I guess I've answered myself. I'm going to keep talking. I'm trying a new format here because I've been planning this video for months, and I keep trying to write out a script and gather footage for multiple games that I want to talk about, and it keeps getting more and more bloated, and then I was kind of just like, screw that. Let's just set up a camera where I can discuss this stuff live as I'm driving through the game. Because it'll convey the main point, which is that, 1, video games never get this right. 2, GTA 5 doesn't get this right. And 3, yet it is still the most accurate example for some other reasons I will get to in just a minute. And here's the other section I wanted to point out specifically. This infuriates me. This is so wrong. Hi, red car. This is so wrong in so many ways that we're going to go through all the ways this is wrong, and then I'm going to show you how this should look. So first of all, Route 68 west, right lane. Okay, fair enough. Exit 3A east, Sandy Shores, left lane. What this says to me is that the exit is on the left lane. And then our last sign here is North 1, Interstate 1, Paleto Bay with 3 arrows, which is not correct because there's only 1.5 lanes under that sign, so you wouldn't need 3 arrows. But either way, that's the least offensive of these 3 signs. We're going to focus on the middle one and the one on the right. Specifically, the middle one here. Exit 3A, east, Sandy Shores, left lane, exit. Okay. There's no exit on the left. The exit is on the right. That's a problem. This says exit left lane, and the exit is on the right. And what this is actually trying to say is that if you take this exit up here on the right and go left, you will be heading east towards Sandy Shores. The exit is on the right, but you turn left to go east to Sandy Shores. That is not how this should be labeled. This is implying that the left lane is where the exit is. And then the sign to the right of it is Route 68 West right lane. Now, both left and right lanes, both the left and right lanes go to this Route 68 road. Left goes east and right goes west. Except it doesn't, because even beyond the incorrect layout of these signs, it's also just straight out wrong. Going left takes you west. Going right takes you east. Left, this is west. Right, this is east. So not only is this sign completely incorrect from a layout and design standpoint, it is completely incorrect even within the context of this game. It is backwards. This should not look anything like this. This would be incredibly confusing. If you were driving along this road in real life and you were trying to figure out how to exit to go east to Sandy Shores, you would think that the exit would be on the left lane and you needed to get over to exit on the left, whereas the exit is on the right and you turn right to go east. But if you want to go to Sandy Shores, you're going west, which is left from the exit on the right. This is so many levels of incorrect here, and I've put together a little example. I generated an example. There's a cool website where you can design road signs, and I did that. And here's a picture of what this should look like. This is what this sign here should look like for the upcoming exit, where it'll tell you that the number of lanes going north to Paleto Bay has the correct number of arrows over it. The exit is on the right, and it goes to US Highway 68 towards Sandy Shores. You can differentiate on the exit ramp. You can put little highway shields saying that you're going, you put a little sign here or something like that saying which way is east and which way is west, depending on which way you're turning. That's how this intersection should look. It's so many levels of incorrect, and these are the sort of things that you don't really look at when you're driving through GTA 5 especially. The game gives you its nice friendly little purple line that tells you everywhere that you're going, tells you everything you need to know, so you don't actually have to read the signs, because you better not read the signs because they're awful. Actually, this one's not that bad. Interstate 1 north towards Paleto Bay, Interstate 1 north towards Braddock Pass. I would correct this by having just one sign that says North Interstate 1 and put both Paleto Bay and Braddock Pass on it, and then only have 2 arrows because there's only 2 lanes here. We got... thanks, guy. We got 6 arrows here. There's not 6 lanes. General rule of thumb is you're only supposed to put the number of arrows over the same number of lanes that there actually are going to a given place. But that's a minor infraction compared to everything else that's been wrong, especially right back there. So let's drive a little bit more and see some other examples. And I'm not even going back into the city because the city is just as confusing. I could spend all day talking about each individual intersection, how they're wrong, why they're wrong, and what could be done to fix them, but that would get boring. So we're just going to do a few little things, because I wanted to point out something up here that also frustrates me, in that we're on a limited access freeway because it's an interstate. So that means you only get on and off the freeway using exit and entrance on ramps. Because it says we are on. Well, it doesn't even say anymore. This sign doesn't even say. Sandy Shores left, Catfish right lane. Sandy Shores left. Oh, look. Just plain old turn lanes. Regular turn lanes. Unprotected turn lanes. You can't do this on an interstate. This is not something you can do on an interstate. They would need to put exit ramps here and have like an above grade road overpass that goes over, that carries whatever road that this is that intersects the intersection here. So you can't just do that. You can't just have unprotected turn lanes on an interstate. That is also very incorrect. You can't drive like that either. That is also very incorrect.
Hey, got room for one more?
Let's jump back into the city real quick, just to cover a few other things. Cool, we get back in the city just in time to not be able to read anything as the sun sets. You know, look at what that sign says. Can you tell? I can't tell. So, there are a number of things that GTA 5 actually does pretty well. Because, like I said, most other games are actually worse than this. GTA 5 gets big points. Okay, I wish the camera would stay still. All these other cars keep moving it. In that they generally do use the correct design for interstate shields and U.S. highway shields, and the correct font for the signs. And overall, the designs look pretty good at first glance. Most other games don't even get that far, including earlier Grand Theft Auto games. So we're looking at this. This sign isn't terrible. We're going west on Interstate 2, Del Perro Freeway. There's 3 arrows above 3 lanes. This one's actually not bad. I'm okay with this. So here's another collection of signs that shows some things that GTA 5 also gets wrong quite a lot, and that is the misuse of exit-only signs. But before we get to that, let's look at these first 2 signs. We've got south on US 20, Elysian Fields Freeway, port of South Los Santos, and west on I-4, Olympic Freeway, East Los Santos. Okay, so first thing that's wrong, US 20 would be a east-west route. If it ends in an even number, it's east-west, and as I mentioned earlier, if it ends in an odd number, it's north-south. And that applies to both interstates and U.S. highways. So US Highway 20 doesn't necessarily have to be a freeway, but it is supposed to run east-west. And here it says we're going on 20 south. So that's not right. Concurrently, this says we're on I-4 west, which is okay. You can have a road that is signed as both a U.S. route, route, highway, whatever, and an interstate at the same time, because a lot of these roads will merge and run concurrently. That's okay, that's fine. The problem is that US 20 should not be going south. But the bigger problem I wanted to point out is something that they do at almost every exit. See this tab, the yellow tab here that says exit only? That would mean that the lane that sign is over exits the highway, specifically that lane. So it's over this lane right here. We're going to exit 2B, Mirror Park, Murrieta Heights, La Mesa, exit only. So that means this lane exits. This lane does not exit. This lane keeps going, and there is a separate exit. So you would not put that yellow exit only tab on this. Let me back up. Let me go backwards on the freeway. So having that yellow tab there that says exit only is incorrect, because that sign should be over a lane that actually exits. It doesn't need to be there if the exit lane is its own lane that branches off from the highway. And if you look around, you'll find that almost every exit in this game does that incorrectly. There are very few that actually get it right. There's a handful, and I found them before. I don't know where they are now. I found them before, and I was like, oh, this one did it right. Like even here. So this says exit 3, I-4, US 15, Olympic Freeway, exit only. We're already on the exit. You shouldn't have the exit only tab when you're already on the ramp that is exiting. That's something that you should see on the original freeway before it branches off. So you wouldn't put it while we're already on the exit. And then it shows here how it splits. This is okay. North US 15, assuming that road actually is US 15 and doesn't get signed as something else as soon as you get off the exit, that's fine. West Olympic Freeway, and then we've got a state highway. That's what the circle is a state highway, and those can kind of do whatever they want. States make those up. States make their own rules for that. They don't have to follow the same rules that the U.S. highways and the interstates do. So, sure, I-4 West Olympic Freeway and Los Santos Route 17 towards South Los Santos. This is okay. Could be worse. I would sign this with the sign on the left, North Palomino Freeway. I would have one larger sign that designates that the 2 lanes on the highway continue that way, and that if you want to go west, you'd take this ramp on the right. So instead of having an arrow to the left on the north sign, I'd have 2 arrows pointing down to the lanes that continue that way. But this isn't terrible. So like I said, GTA 5 has a ton of errors here, but it's still the most accurate compared to any other game. We're going to jump back real quick, and I'm going to cut to it, to GTA 4. Because even just one game prior, the situation was much, much, much worse. Oh no. What is this? Stop hitting me. Let me stop in the middle of the road. Stop that. Look at this. So many things wrong here. First of all, none of the lanes are labeled. This is just random signs with arrows. Stop hitting me. Bowhands to the left, Broker and Dukes are to the right. Okay, what is that shield? That is a U.S. highway shield. Oh my gosh. Stop. That is a U.S. highway shield with no label. U.S. highway what? Nothing. No label at all. The wrong font. The lanes aren't labeled. The highway shield is blank. Terrible. Terrible. It's not even close to being correct. So each game improves, and that's one thing I'm really excited about, actually, because GTA 4 was pretty bad. GTA 5 was quite a bit better, but still terrible. Look at these blank U.S. highway shields. What highway are we on? Who knows? It's blank. GTA 4 was pretty bad. GTA 5 was quite a bit better, but still pretty bad. But let's talk about GTA 6, which I am pumped for, because... Come on. Thank you. Which I am pumped for, because one, these games are great. But two, just based on the one trailer we've got, the signs are so much more accurate. We're going to cut over to that, and I'm going to show you a few screenshots from the trailer and why it's such an improvement over 5. Look at this screenshot from the GTA 6 trailer. This looks really good. I-404 West to I-97, Kelly County and VCI Airport. It has the nice little airport sign. It has the correct number of arrows over the lanes. The numbering seems to make sense. There's a pretty big community trying to map out the game based on the trailer. And the way the highways line up pretty much makes sense as far as we can tell. So I-97 would be a decently major north-south freeway, and 404 would be a bypass or a loop or a belt of an I-4. So what that means is I-4 or I-04, because you want to include the leading zero here, would be a east-west freeway, and then by having it be 404, that first 4, being an even number means that it's another freeway that branches off from I-4, but then reconnects to it. So 404 would be a freeway that branches off of 4 and then reconnects to 4, whereas something, if it started with an odd number, like 304, that would mean it branches off from 4 and doesn't reconnect. It's a spur that dead ends somewhere else. So I-404 west to 97, and then this exit sign on the right looks pretty good. Remains to be seen whether or not this lane actually exits, but it looks like it says U.S. Highway 3, Catalan Boulevard, Stockyard, Downtown. It looks really good. I know GTA 5 already had the fonts pretty much correct, but the proportions of them and the layout looks better here. Like, this looks really accurate. I have no complaints here other than, 1, does this lane actually exit? And 2, the exit needs to be basically just past where we're seeing for that arrow to be pointing up and to the right. Otherwise, it should be just pointing down, saying that you're in the lane that's going to exit. But nitpicks. It looks really good. So here's another one. This is an exit that goes to 404 East and 404 West, which makes sense. 404 would be an east-west freeway, the same one we mentioned earlier. It splits. It has the signs pointing on the 2 branching paths on which way exits towards which direction. You see this interesting Vice Beaches port VC/keys, and then that tiny text beneath it you can barely see says via tunnel. So that's interesting. They're getting more detailed here. And then on the sign that points to the west, you've got this white bar on the top, and that is a toll. That's information about a toll. This is saying this is a toll road that you can have like the equivalent of Florida's Sun Pass on it. I can't tell what that logo actually is, but that's what that is. And that's really cool because 1, this means there's freeways with tolls on them that the game somehow knows about, but they're signed properly. And 2, it denotes specific things like tunnels, via tunnel. It tells you where you're going, which is also accurate to something there are equivalents to these signs in Florida. It just looks really good. It still remains to be seen how accurate they really are once you actually look at the layout of the roads, but just the designs just seem more detailed and the layouts seem really good. I look at this and I don't have any complaints. The only thing I would say it's on this sign, and then the previous one is it's denoting that you're heading towards you're heading west towards Kelly County. Usually freeways don't note counties where you're going. Usually you'll put control cities. So if you're heading towards another town or another city, you'd put that. You really wouldn't put the county you're heading towards. That's not standard, but I'll take it. Grand Theft Auto has always liked to put emphasis on the rural areas outside of the cities being the counties, like your Blaine County or your Bone County in San Andreas. They're always like, oh, you're going to this county. A little more emphasis on it than you'd have in a real life location, but it's not bad. And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. So I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I've recorded something like 45 minutes of me yapping here. It's going to get trimmed down a lot. But I just wanted to talk about this. This is a silly thing. I know I didn't really go into any other games other than Grand Theft Auto. For the most part, they're even worse. But this is the one I'm most familiar with, and I just thought this was a fun topic to talk about. That's all I do on this channel, is talk about topics that I want to talk about when I feel like it. So maybe I'll talk about another topic at some point. Okay, bye.